Welcome to the SmackDown / Saturday Night's main event preview. I'm Adam Wilbourn from WhatCulture, joined by another WhatCulture, Michael Hamflett. Here to look ahead to tonight's SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube, where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review SmackDown, but also the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a particular quiz, of course, on WrestleCulture. As I said, though, joined by Michael Hamflett to look ahead to tonight's episode of, and tomorrow night's episode of, Friday Night SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event. Good. Where do you want to start?
We're not all the way back yet, are we? Because we haven't had... We did do a review, didn't we, this week?
Yes. We talked about something that we may pick up on, possibly as a segue between SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event. A little tangent, perhaps, on this podcast.
No, I don't like the sound of that. We keep it nothing but the business, surely. So, yeah, it doesn't feel like we're all the way back post-Wrestlemania. And it's an interesting Friday to say that in light of what potentially might be happening next year's WrestleMania, but more on that when we have more on that.
Oh, my God.
Or, for some people, hang on, oh my God, for us, but for most people...
It has divided the fan base for sure. But
us and them.
We'll pick up, but we want you to be part of us. More on that when the news gets official, and then God knows
Did
what.
We asked them to fill our holes once. That was Vegas, wasn't it?
Fill our holes.
I seem to remember sitting in Aurora Bar, and what a place that was. Wouldn't mind going back there. Yeah. Asking people to fill our holes quite loudly.
Oh, God, what was that for?
I can't remember. Let us know.
That was, yeah, you're right. No, it doesn't yet feel like we've got back into the standard cycle of SmackDown preview, SmackDown review, and off we go again. Before other things have to be considered, there was the Backlash weekend. Mm-hmm. There was this one outlier in the middle, but then all of a sudden the conversation has come back around to WrestleMania for next year. And now we've got this / Saturday night's main event.
And a bank holiday in the UK, which means we won't be back until Tuesday, everyone.
Yeah,
Trust me, we're as good about that as you are.
God damn it, yeah, you don't believe half of it, mate. We touched on this on a Double or Nothing preview, which will go up on the YouTube channel tomorrow, I think, along with the audio, where we said, obviously, Tuesday will sort of be a wacky Tuesday.
We'll try and do everything.
Because we're going to try and pack in the Double or Nothing review. I'm 40 now. So my memory isn't as good as yours. So I've forgotten the name of the NXT PLE.
Well, it's easy to remember because it's the biggest and best show of the weekend. It's NXT Battleground. You grounded! Battlegrounded! You're not a winner.
You're an achiever.
More on that later.
And here we are again. SmackDown buttressed by a Saturday night's main event, meaning it will be a show we will realistically not get a chance to review.
Or even watch, potentially.
Well, and I think WWE are kind of leaning in on that sort of thing. And it comes in the week where, I want you to talk about this in a minute, because I haven't had a chance to talk about it in the office. It's been a busy day, so we're just going to do it on air. You've been very busy being business Wilbourn this week.
But apologies to everyone who was like, well, this isn't the classic banter tweets that I'm expecting from Wilbourn. I've been down at the podcast show in London, networking.
I thought you were going to say, like, apologies to anybody who watched the podcast and it was just Sidge and Hamflett.
Better, if anything.
But we have missed you this week.
I missed you too.
And I do want to hear about the podcast show.
Well, I met Spencer Matthews from Made in Chelsea. That was a particular highlight.
I don't know who that is, but I want.
He's a very handsome man. He smelled great.
One of them, like, very glossy E4 reality shows. But
yeah. Very good guy. He's positive about, like, men's or general mental health and stuff like that. And,
A lot of people come away from those shows and don't get the counselling and stuff they need to this. So it's like
he's a big advocate, that sort of thing.
The SmackDown light at the end of the tunnel. It was
2 weeks, innit?
It was the bluest light. Well, forget about it because they're going to be carrying on 3 hours a little bit longer.
What?
Am I breaking this news?
Yeah, I've missed all this.
Yeah. The June stuff.
No.
The June stuff.
Dear.
As it turns out, was apparently just seeing stuff. And obviously, USA, as you can well imagine, are thrilled. So,
June, it's all over for Friday Night SmackDown.
Fed might be all over. What's going on?
How long are we going to pull up with this for?
I know. Well, we don't know, and that's the worst.
Oh,
That's what they say when they relate to matters as serious as this. It's the not knowing that's the worst. So currently, we don't know when we'll get our lives back. But 3-hour SmackDowns will continue for now. And as a result, I kind of don't mind that we've got a Saturday night's main event to add to the conversation here.
Dave Meltzer said it was finishing at the start of June. He's got something wrong.
Come on, Triple H said it as well. We were all hanging our hats on that. We were, please don't walk this back for constant. And maybe it's a karmic thing that WrestleMania ends up in Vegas and we're okay with that. It was like, but 3-hour SmackDowns in perpetuity. Oh God,
I'll take it.
I will take it.
See you at the HyperX. Follow the beam.
Yeah. Definitely follow the beam. We will do everything we can. Anything's possible in the pyramid. And yet again, I have opened my big stupid mouth to try and make my dreams come true. Because in 2023, I said to Phil Chambers, I will go on that big daft, too high ride if we ever end up coming back to Vegas. And you paid the price for that, didn't you? Because we did. And it was scary.
I was telling a mate of mine about this at the podcast show and describing it. And he was like, oh, yeah, that big thing. I was like, yeah, you know that big thing? Until you go up it, there's a little sign that says, this is higher than the Eiffel Tower. And then you're going to go up even higher.
You're going at the top bit. The strat, yeah.
What have you promised now?
I said, it was a bit of a prayed for this and it happened thing. So when we met and were taken for lunch by the sort of the colleagues and friends we'd made at the
Legends,
the Luxor, who worked for MGM and the like, and we'd all just had that was the day the story dropped that our WrestleMania wants to come back to Vegas in 5 years. And we all had a nice time around the table and said, that would be great. It would be great to work with you again. If anything, it'd be great if it came back next year. Ha ha ha. I hope they meant it. And I think I had the crack with Phil afterwards, and Nick, actually, my cousin. We talked about it was great, wasn't it? That'd be the sort of thing you would get a tattoo to commemorate. And then I kind of went a bit further. I was like, look, if this Vegas thing comes off again, if this is next 5 years, or really, what if it was next year or the year after or something? Because New Orleans was announced by then. Year after, imagine if they're just looking to get back as quick as possible. I'll do it. I'll get a Luxor tattoo.
Wow.
And then
little
I thought I could
pyramid tramp stamp,
something like that. Yeah, I was thinking I can double down on that when the news broke about it going to leaving New Orleans, because like a lot of people, I was just thinking this is going to be Saudi Arabia or Wembley.
I love that. London.
Yeah, there's lots of positives to London. I'm not being an arsehole.
We're just selfish. We want to go to America.
It's true.
Simple.
And the weather here might be rubbish, and the trains and the hotels are super expensive. I got to talk about Wembley in a minute. But yeah, that I still tweeted it again with the arrogance of youth. Some might say, not me.
No.
And then literally an hour later, it's looking like Vegas, guys. Well, I put it on the internet, so I guess that'll be happening. Pyramid tattoo or the little Sphinx or just a Luxor logo I quite like.
Yeah.
The little the special little X, I quite like that. So probably do that. We'll get some content out of it, shall we? We'll film it or something.
I genuinely thought you were going to say you're going to go on the zip wire, and I was like, I'll do that with you.
I'd do that.
Class. Slotzilla, I think it's called.
That's a nice one to stick on the list. And this thing with Vegas, I guess, is and this is the thing I will say for anybody that lives in America, maybe less so in the UK, I don't know, live your best lives. If there's anyone in the US that was thinking, I wanted Vegas, I wanted it in my state rather than Vegas, but the flights or whatever are achievable, I encourage you to watch all those Vegas blogs or things like that I found myself getting hooked on pre-WrestleMania 41, because it doesn't feel like a place you can crack with 50 visits, let alone one or two. So I think there's so much more still to be uncovered at Las Vegas, even if you think, I've completed it now, I want to go to somewhere new. I'm not working for the Vegas Tourist Board. This is not paid content. However, once we get the emails back open with Luxor and MGM, maybe it will be. But in the meantime,
you send them the Jey Uso gif. Run it back.
So yeah, it's a big story, but to get all the way back around, Saturday night's main event happening now is quite nice because we've got Money in the Bank in 2 weeks.
Bloody hell.
Thick and fast. And then that'll be followed up by the Saudi Arabia show, I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
End of June. So these 3-hour SmackDowns, they're piss poor and the lazy. But don't get David burned by that because
express to
feelings
yourself.
Yes, because these weekend shows are at least these mini events to use the SmackDown to build to them rather than
absolutely.
the SmackDowns needing to exist.
2 huge shows this weekend and Double or Nothing's on as well. Check out the preview for that.
It's good. We're happy with that.
It does look. It looks
went long. It's a card I'm genuinely excited about for the first time on AEW pay-per-view in years, like the whole card.
Double figures for matches on that card.
9 at the moment.
I'll 10 if you include the pre-show.
Oh, God. Well, if we're including the pre-show, we're about 15, is it? I don't know. Like adding 1 via the pre-show is a bit generous.
The thing is, we're not going to get a chance. Well, like you say, it's going to be a chaotic Tuesday, so apologies in advance for that. We'll try and,
we'd come in if we could.
Yeah.
I would.
But it's actually an exciting card for tonight at SmackDown as well, so it's annoying that we don't get to really talk about this much. We'll probably talk about it on next week's SmackDown preview or something, because big Money in the Bank qualifiers tonight, both in the men's and the women's division. Let's start with the men's because that feels fairly obvious who's going to win this. Is it going to be Shinsuke Nakamura, LA Knight, or Aleister Black?
It's going to be Aleister Black, isn't it? Well,
I suppose there could be interference from Melodome Miz.
Why's that?
Because they're awesome. But Shinsuke's got his... I suppose Shinsuke's got his thing with Aleister Black, but then also LA Knight has his thing with Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo and, of course, Jacob Fatu.
This match, possibly more than any other we've had this week, considering the terrible accident that befell Zoe Stark, is why Triple H loves these triple threat tournaments matches so much, isn't it? Textbook, this. Liquid Paul.
Yes.
Like, LA Knight is on a losing run and thus can be defeated potentially without being defeated. Shinsuke Nakamura is a loser. And Aleister Black right now at least is not a loser. So he wins, he goes on to Money in the Bank, he is a legitimate contender for it.
I hope Mello qualifies as well.
Me too, yeah. I'm genuinely enjoying, maybe in spite of myself, or maybe just in spite of how much of SmackDown I think is really dull. I'm quite liking him and Miz at the moment. And yeah, Aleister Black qualifies. LA Knight doesn't, and that's the story.
He's turning heel eventually, isn't he?
I think
quite
so.
Good fun, that.
The defeats have been piling up. We
only know 1 man in the Money in the Bank match. 3 for the women, yes. Solo for the men's Money in the Bank.
Solo qualified last week, and then we got Rhea Ripley.
Someone who's just made the jump from NXT.
Roxanne Perez.
And Alexa Bliss.
And Alexa Bliss won the one last week, so yeah. They're doing, to be absolutely fair, and like with the Chambers, they are trying to fill these with stars, with people that, like, I always...
Solo Sikoa as well.
I always prefer it when you don't have ex-world champions in them.
Yeah.
Because there is that. We said this a few weeks ago. It replicates the excitement of actually winning a belt because the case is in someone's hand and that's the closest one can get to a belt without actually holding one.
Yeah, unless your name's like Otis or Damien Sandow.
It's not
there's never been a failed women's, has there?
Oh, there must.
I think they mentioned this on commentary. I'm fairly certain on either Raw or SmackDown. My brain is soup this week.
Yeah,
it's like that all weeks, to be honest. But I'm fairly certain they said 100% success rate.
We've done this game before, but let's try. Let's try and go. Sometimes if I go chronologically, I'll forget one, but we'll try. So the first Money in the Bank,
You're doing just women's, yes.
Women's winner, yeah.
Oh, hang on.
Was
that's not gonna help me.
So it was 2017, and it was won by Carmella, who cashed in on Charlotte Flair.
That's sexist. Oh, it did say men's Money in the Bank.
Okay. Yeah, she cashed in on Charlotte Flair when your faves decked her when they arrived on SmackDown. The 2018 one, if I'm not mistaken, was won by Alexa Bliss.
There's a button for this. I should be...
Bingo! Who cashed in on the night against Ronda Rousey during her defense against Nia Jax.
Twatted Nia in the arm, I think, or something.
2019 was Bayley.
That was good.
Who cashed in on Charlotte Flair, who had just defeated Becky Lynch.
Another on the night, yeah.
Another on the night. Bingo! 2020 was Asuka, who opened the briefcase to find the belt because Becky Lynch was
Baby.
on the way to be a mother.
No, do you know open to find a baby?
She opens the briefcase, baby.
I mean, really.
2020.
Becky shouldn't have had the belt by that point. She should have dropped it.
Oh,
Shayna
God,
Baszler, but we haven't got time.
2021, right, was Nikki ASH.
Yeah, I think you were going to get that.
Bingo! Also cashing on, and then lost it back there.
Got rid of the gimmick.
Get that belt off. 2022 was the future Wrestler of the Year, Liv Morgan. Bingo! Cashing on Ronda Rousey.
Mm-hmm.
And then would ultimately...
Same night as well? I think it was.
I think it was because Nikki ASH was like the night later. So there was still this like 24-hour... Carmella, longest ever, 24-hour window every year going forward. And then 2023 was... Right. I get myself mixed up here. So the person cashed in on...
I can't remember this.
Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. Bingo! Which is weird because I can't remember the person.
Well, she's someone who has to keep an eye out for this year's Money in the Bank winners.
Io Sky. Bingo! That's what I was thinking before. 2024 was Tiffany Stratton.
Brilliant.
Pink briefcase, Nia Jax. So yeah, like...
100% success rate.
That is 100% success rate, and that made me feel good. And that was, in a way, Wilbourn, you've never worked in radio, but we call this a segue. That was, in a way, a record of my achievements.
Oh, funny you mentioned that.
Why? Oh, what?
We talked about this on Monday, if you're unaware. This is what Murray doesn't know about these sort of things. English schools maybe gave out around sort of early 2000s, yes? Mm-hmm. Maybe not even late 2000s, because some people are messaging us going, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, we reckon there's like a 5-year window, don't we?
And it keeps a track of your achievements, as you mentioned, and you can like put your personal statement and stuff in there. There's some random stuff in here that, because my parents just randomly dropped this off last week. Mm-hmm. There's like the certificate to say that I can handle foods safely. There's a food hygiene certificate.
Very nice.
So that's all good. There's like random uni stuff in there, and what have you. But let's get to the meat of the matter. Do you want to run through the merits there that I won? Right. What they were for. I hope I've ordered them correctly, because there's one that's an absolute peach. We used to get them basically. If you were good, they were like, you've got a merit.
So dished out to Wilbourn on the 3rd of March, 1995. Somebody was getting excited for WrestleMania 11. Not you, it was me. Adam Wilbourn got a merit for helpfulness, signed by a hand key.
Mrs. Handley.
Handley. I thought it was like a key had signed it. Right. Adam Wilbourn. This is my kind of merit. Adam Wilbourn was helping in the sandwich room.
That sounds like a Cluedo thing, doesn't it?
Yeah. Speaking of which, just
keep going with a couple more.
Okay. All right. Adam Wilbourn was helping in the sandwich room.
All right. What's the next one say?
Adam could have been somebody else's. You could have just stolen it from the Valentine's Day 1995. Hey, sitting quietly while eating. So
that's my favourite one. The others are just all
no romance that Valentine's Day for little Wilbourn.
Oh,
wait a second though, because things have gone a bit skew-ski in their school, because Adam Wilbourn is helping in the sandwich room. And 27th of March 1995, 1 month after his lonely Valentine's Day, Adam's being helpful. They're brilliant, by the way. I love that these have been kept.
Yeah, like a sandwich bag.
My eldest is doing a thing at school today.
Oh?
They did Wild West in these schools, but I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. They have a thing called Takeover Day, because it's the last day before half term.
School's called Takeover, right?
Yeah. And he's like, he wanted to do kitchen stuff. So he's like helping the school chef make the dinners.
That's awesome.
And there's like kids helping the teachers, and there's like a groundskeeper that's like, and they're just like, the kids get to do all the stuff. I'm wondering if the teachers are even there, or like they're just teacher training day starts today, glug glug. But
and that's when teachers.
Here we go. This is what it's all about.
Yes. So I'm gonna run you through this, and then I think we'll finish here.
Okay.
So, like you said, as you mentioned on Monday, you keep like a sort of folder of some of your best things. Award for outstanding effort, presented to Adam Wilbourn for drama. You can see where it was going.
Yeah. They knew.
Services to school and community
Ah.
for exceptional work experience. Thank you to Chesterfield Council. North East Derbyshire District Council, I should say, looked after me for that.
What were you doing?
I think I mention it in a minute. So
Okay, all right.
Hold off on all the big jobs that they entrusted me
Hold
with.
your water.
50 merits, ever heard of it? That's like 10 times what you were reading through there.
I think you're underselling yourself there. Merits were what you got clearly at like an infants or a primary school. That's 50 credits.
For positive behaviour management.
That's good.
Geography, despite the fact I don't know where anywhere is in the UK. Outstanding achievement for GCSE examination performance.
Wow, that's pretty good. That must mean across the board your results were solid.
I was pretty damn smart.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what happened. I think I got kicked in the head by a horse. Another one for geography, one for French.
I can tell you were good at French.
Yeah. Terry Gibson signed that. He was the head teacher. So big
French.
Improvement in PE. Right, that's a bit of a low bar, that, isn't it?
Well done.
Oh, well done. You kicked the ball. But where's my? Here it comes. Here's the. We're talking about flexing on each other. What's that say there?
100% attendance. Certificate for 100% attendance. Oh, I love this. 100% attendance. 100% attendance. 100% attendance.
Do you know what my wife said when she saw this page?
Go on. She called you a swat.
Nerd. Yeah.
Hundreds on hundreds on hundreds. Like, I love that sort of stuff. Do you know what maybe this is like a bit, what you got here? Bugsy Malone. That's why you always talk about it. This might be archaic, and I am not counting people that have to deal daily with a lot of illness, because I am very blessed to not get ill that much, and I know a lot of people just do, and that's one of them sort of things. I have a slightly Victorian belief when it comes to going to school. And again, this is not one size fits all by any means, but because I basically had to go to school unless like my neck was hanging off.
Yes.
My folks took a pretty hard line on me going to school, and I got a lot of them 100%ers as well. And like realistically, it was fine. I genuinely think that is why I don't get ill much as an adult.
Yeah.
That might not be true.
It's like when they say give kids dirt, basically.
A bit. It's like you're going to be around so many kids that have got so many illnesses all the time that your immunity or your just acceptance of basic illness will be better. 100% attendances are ones to be proud of, even though you will get called a geek.
So we had to write this up. This is a personal statement.
Got that paper.
To go in the National Record of Achievement.
Little information bit on the back there. Very
I'm
cool.
in Year 11 at New York Community School. My favourite subjects are drama, IT, and PE. Oh, who was writing this
You
one?
playing football by then? Or was he
Yeah.
into
Oh, netball. I was class
Okay.
at netball back in the day. There's
Harder
always-
than basketball to score because of the lack of a backboard.
was a goal attack.
So you were...
Scored in every game, won every game. And then...
Was your height a big help?
No, I was short and fat at the time. I'm fairly certain, actually, I didn't play this in secondary school now I think about it, because I'm fairly certain they were like, I think you're going to get bullied enough, mate. So
Yeah, they
like
were
that.
kind of like very gender specific. When
So
we were
blah, blah,
young.
blah. I think I can do well in my exams, and I've done good so far in my coursework and what have you. For work experience, I worked in the legal section of the council, as I wanted to experience what it was like. I had lots of responsibilities at the council. The main jobs I had to do, big jobs, were photocopying, filing, and work on the computer. So,
Big jobs.
can you put that in the cabinet? Right, it's probably lunch, that, innit?
Work on the computer. What year was this?
So, what am I in Year 11?
Yeah, I was in year 11 in 2001. So
Yeah,
we
probably
like
around, what,
2-3 years
03?
apart?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, it's dated there, 10th of February 2004.
okay. Oh, so about a month out from WrestleMania 20, you'd have been getting very excited.
This is you'll relate to this.
Go on then.
Sorry, you're going to say
No, I was
something.
just working on a computer in this period was still sort of like, oh my God, is he going to work for NASA?
Yeah.
There was definitely a massive divide from people that never use computers.
My thing at the end says, I want to go and study drama at university if possible. That's because I would like to become an actor after I leave university. If that fails, I would like a job involving IT. So,
My degree was journalism with IT, because everybody was telling you, like, you need computer experience. This was an era where if you didn't know what you're doing on a computer, you had no chance. What you got there?
I'm just thinking the interest in hobbies is best summed up by this,
Okay.
which I think was written before this. This is when I actually had relatively legible handwriting, because interests and hobbies are kind of covered here. Can you read that? My interests and hobbies, you are going to relate hard to some of these.
Absolutely love to. Right. Going to the cinema. Check.
Not really a hobby.
Probably trying to score with chicks when that's what you're doing at the cinema.
Throwing popcorn at each other, more than likely.
Playing on my PS2. Yeah.
Flex.
Same. Acting, brackets, drama club. Right. See if you can wrap your head around this. IT, brackets, IT club.
No girlfriends.
I enjoy playing and watching some sports.
Yeah, whoa.
I
I love snooker with all this.
Listen to music.
Yeah, again,
brackets,
that's not...
Arctic Monkeys, and that's it.
No, brackets. Not really a hobby again, just more of a sort of pastime.
How old were you when you did this?
I have no idea. I think I was younger than that, so probably like 10, 11.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, that's fine then. I like going on the internet on my PC. And just I thought I'd do an age check before. Yeah, I did. And watching TV.
There you go.
You try to hide that one at the bottom as if it isn't related to about 3 of the others.
Yeah.
But I like that. I respect that about you. What else we got in this thing is about me? I'm going to read all of these. Right. Helping others. I help my parents with the chores every week. I do this by helping make dinner, helping keep my room tidy. I am paid every weekend.
Yeah, I love that bit. Just to clarify, I'm not a good person.
I'm getting out of bed for now, mate. Interesting, because we've never had this. This is a talented man.
Thank you.
Me and Cedric experienced this firsthand when you're off. Man of many talents. A lot of them, considering what outgoing person he is, he hides a lot of his lights under a bushel. And here's another one. And I would say this coming Tuesday, he shouldn't recap the matches. He should play them. Because last year I began to learn the guitar. He kept that one quiet.
Do you know what the story was with that? My parents bought me a guitar, and I was like, great. And then I was like, this is too difficult. I don't want to do this. And the BS2's calling to me, or the telly or whatever. And they used to pay for me to go guitar lessons. And I deliberately dropped the plate drum in the middle of the guitar. Can't get it out. Probably should call it there.
Oh, God. Over the past few years, ahead of Bash at Berlin and Clash in Paris, I've become fluent in French and German.
Je ne comprends pas.
Where's the lie?
Forgotten all of that now.
Bobby, what was fish? Poussin.
I thought you said
Responsibilities left completely empty.
Yeah.
Personality, right.
Yeah, and then the best bit. I think this might be the bit where we...
Personality. Bear in mind, Wilbourn wrote this himself. Personality. Honest, reliable, punctual, kind, smart, funny, talkative, outgoing, practical, and sociable.
So
I can't see modest on here.
Humble. I don't know what else we got.
Organised. For the
That's I just remember the best bit. This is the best bit. We are going to get back to the wrestling in a second because this is the peak. Right, organised. Okay, you got to like.
I'll read the.
Read the description.
Like a tip of what. Have you been involved in the last 2 or 3 years in organising something? You might have helped to organise a trip to the theatre for a group of students. You might have taken upon it to yourself to organise a surprise party for someone. You might have organised a meeting or perhaps an assembly. If you've done anything like this, then use the space below to describe.
Oh, I forgot about this.
For the past...
Hang on, I'm going to... okay, I'm ready.
For the past 2 years, I have organised my birthday party at the cinema.
What's that? You want to go to the cinema? What's on? Men in Black. Sounds good.
It's a Saturday. Right, away we go then. A party for somebody else. My birthday party.
Also quite lame that I have to organise. Mum and Dad, I'm not doing that.
Awards. I've been given a few 100% attendances from school.
No biggie.
Look at you playing those down.
A book full of her here. No jobs, by the way, came from this. No one ever looked at this. But please, Americans, I'd love to know if Americans have something similar to this.
All right. Last one, best qualities. Some of this still sticks to this day. I have a good sense of humour. I think we can all agree that's true.
GSOH.
I am a good listener. I would say that's broadly true unless he hears us say a rude word and then he stops listening to us and then waits for an opportunity to do a pun off the back of that rude word.
Yeah.
And like, you should have put, I am slightly contradictory because you've said, I am punctual and not off very often. Well, which is it?
So not a flex, not off very often.
100% for 6 years, 6 years running. That is outstanding. We're
going to get Hamflett in if we can find it.
If I can find it, I will. I promise. I think it's fun to look back on this stuff, and we only mock with love because we all had to do daft stuff like that, didn't we? It totally was, man. Box sticking from day one.
There were some awards that I got. I can't find them now. And one of them was, I think it was from sixth form, and it was best single. I was like, so the person who can't find a girlfriend then, basically.
Oh, really? Not like that you'd actually wrote a song?
New.
Best single.
Yeah, it was basically like best couple. And then it was like, Who's the most single lad in the entire year?
I was watching the Top of the Pops from '97 with my wife the other day, and I, like, it's fine. Like, they're talking about, like, prior relationships, of which I didn't have too many, so I don't have too much of that baggage when I first met my wife. But, like, at Top of the Pop, there was, like, somebody in the charts. It's called, like, Lutricia McNeil. She wasn't a massive
And
star.
the name rings a bell, yeah.
Rings a bell. And the, like, one of the only school girlfriends, and that term is the loosest term. That's like where you just hold hands in a playground.
Yeah, you say hello each morning.
Meet at Woolworths once on a Saturday, and then you break up the following week, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Quite the love affair. Like, but I haven't thought about that in so long that, like, Lutricia McNeil popped. And number 13 this week is Lutricia McNeil. And I went, oh, God. And I had this, like, sensory overload. And she was like, what? Then I had to, like, go into the story of, like, my kind of first love / breakup with, like, a girl called Rachel who got me that single as part of, like, our weekend in town.
MVC or whatever?
It probably Woolies or something. And, like, I was just rubbish at coping with that level of affection. Had a perfectly nice day. Went home. Probably. Oh, that was what it was. It all ties together, I promise. So the deadline, October 1997. And I'd forgotten the rough dates of it. But then it, like, so much came back to me. It was this, like, information memory dump. Like, sure felt dump because I got dumped. So it was early October. And what happened was we'd started taking Spanish class. I took it to get out of a second PE lesson in a week and one tech class.
Smart.
Food tech or woodwork or metalwork, whatever. It's like Spanish class in the place of one of the tech classes and a PE. I'll have that. And then I had to drop it after a year because it was making my French work, and French was the one that you had to say all the way through. So my French was getting worse because my Spanish was getting in there. So I was like, right, drop it. But we didn't know each other. It's like year 9. We didn't know each other from the first couple of years, but alphabetically we were close in the alphabet, and the teacher did that thing where in the first few weeks you just sit next to somebody new in the alphabet so they can learn all the names. And I guess we must have got our flirt on because that was like by October, it was like going out City Jones. And then she broke up with me, probably because I was a stupid little asshole and I deserved it. But I was real sad. I was like real sad. I don't think I really cared much about the going out until suddenly I'd been finished. And then it was like,
I don't know what you got till this gown.
Yeah, I didn't know what I had till it went. And then, I'm talking like a week later, which had nothing to do with me. I've told this story before. Wednesday, Sky. Saturday, my first PC with the internet. And then I was like, see you later, girls and friends forever. Because, like, it was, I was been 7 years a wrestling fan and I'd never had Sky. And then had the internet and I'm like, what wrestling news? Oh my God, they're using real names and Bret Hart's going to WCW. What's going on? Like, I was like, oh, well, turns out I didn't need other people anyway. So I bet she wishes she'd stuck with me because I would have been, like, she could have come round and she could have had, like, she would have had, like, the Raw results before anybody else at school. Her loss, if anything. I could have bloody well told her that it was likely that Anvil and Bulldog were going to follow Brett out the door, but Owen was stuck with his contract. But no, she didn't find out.
You fool.
Idiot. And I started buying CD singles for myself because the PC came with a CD thing. No tapes for me anymore. Like,
snap them.
Lutricia McNeil out the window. I probably still played it. I used to tape off the radio.
Yeah.
Marianne Hobbs was presenting this Top of the Pops.
Was talking?
That was the other point where my wife could tell that I was in a love haze and it was nothing to do with her because I was like, I used to record Marianne, like her voice and just seeing her as a presenter again. She used to have like 10 till 1 in the morning on Radio 1. And I used to leave a tape running when I went to bed. So I'd fall asleep listening to Steve Lamack, and then there would be like more bands that made me cooler to the other people at school. So as well as wrestling results, I also had bands that girls didn't care about. So I was kind of a 5-tool player, by which I mean, here's the 5 and there's the tool.
So SmackDown, we've talked about one of the 2 qualifying matches. We're half an hour in. The other qualifying match is genuinely harder to call, I'd say. It's got Charlotte Flair in it, so there's that aspect to it. But also, new SmackDown signing Julia and women's US champ Zelina Vega. Is this going to be, well, in all likelihood, Charlotte qualifies and they set up maybe Julia as the new US challenger?
Yeah. Julia going to SmackDown was a bit of a shocker, wasn't it? But now, if you look at what's happened with Roxanne, it feels like it happened for Roxanne's benefit rather than Julia's. So it's like slightly shaky ground for Julia, I would say this. She has not underperformed, I don't think.
Speed ran.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a shaky start in NXT, but I do definitely think it was just a little bit of rust or something. That got shaken off, and she feels established. She feels part of it. But I do worry a little bit about so we've got Julia, Charlotte Flair,
Zelina
Vega. It's dicey business beating your United States champion, but I just cannot see Charlotte Flair losing and pinning Julia is a little bit, we got too many wrestlers or something, because Rey Fenix is kind of a loser and Andrade is never doing anything, and Aleister Black's already been normalized, and we've talked about this quite a bit lately. You don't want to add Julia to the collection of newish wrestlers that are kind of getting knout.
Do you want to know why I think the finish is? Julia has the match won. She drops Zelina Vega with her finisher.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte hoys her out there and steals the pin. And basically Julia can revisit this by basically saying, I had you beat. The US champion, I had you beat.
Do they then tease a bit of a thing where that's true, and then you've got that match off as a spin-off? Do they then tease that Charlotte's like, look, Alexa, I would have offered you help, but I guess we're both rivals in Money in the Bank now? Or do you want to teach some of these youngins a lesson and we'll work together until there's just us two left? And then that's like a bit of an alliance in the mat, like an uneasy alliance, and you get to watch if one of them betrays the other, or
like that.
Something like that, because it's just hard to look past Charlotte Flair for this, isn't it?
Also on SmackDown tonight.
I'd love it if she lost. I would say that. I would love it if she lost. I think it's way more interesting.
Julia pins Charlotte Flair, for example.
Like way more interesting things to do off the back of that. I just, at the moment, post-Wrestlemania, I can't look past Charlotte Flair being like, I want back in the mix, please.
Yeah. Also on SmackDown tonight, there's a tag team titles on the line. From a team who's already pinned the tag team champions. It's the Street Profits versus the newest arrivals on the tag scene on SmackDown, former NXT tag team champions, that being, of course, Axiom. Nathan Fraser.
When I'm cleaning windows.
How do you see this one going? Fraxium versus the Street Profits.
I mean, they have done this with these tag belts, where the win is such an out-of-the-blue victory for the champions in question that it's like this attempt by Triple H or Road Dogg or whoever to sort of speed run the push, I guess. The Guns did it, and it was an awesome night, and it overlapped with stuff that was going on with the Bloodline that was just really cool. And then DIY kind of won them unexpectedly.
Yes.
And then it was like, finally, but when the Street Profits won them, you were thinking, it felt like there was like a longer story to tell, but the Street Profits have done it. They won the belts, and away we go. On those terms, you kind of think Fraxium might win them. But ask yourself this, what does it keep doing for the aforementioned losers? None of the teams I've just mentioned are in a better spot for these quickie runs, and these belts are hot potato and around I know they've tried to tell the story, not very elegantly, I don't think, of this division's crazy. And that's one of the ways to tell that story, is by bouncing the belts around. I think the Street Profits need them. I agree. I think they're the ones to go with as an actual run. And Fraxium...
And you can have DIY or the Guns, because we talked about them looking for a split second like they might turn.
That's where the turn is there. Like Nathan Fraser going so hard about like how integral they both were, and like they're our heroes and stuff like that. And then it's just, F you with the Motor City Machine Guns, and you shouldn't be treating us like we're fossils or dinosaurs or whatever. And we've said it, we're still waiting for the Fraxium is fine aspect of Fraxium, because that's part of the fun of Fraxium. And you're getting at the moment, it's like, I'm really glad to be here. Me too, amigo. So he's a bit of an arsehole behind the scenes, but we haven't yet fleshed that out in the matches.
I hope what happens here, I don't hope that Fraxium loses, but I think the right call is Street Profits retain. Yeah. I think, shenanigans, DIY's out there. You don't know who they're trying to screw over, but they hate both teams, obviously. They just want to involve themselves in it. Motor City Machine Guns, scram, get out of here. Mm-hmm. And then they hoy Nathan Fraser in the cock to get rid of him. And steal Axiom's mask, just pull it off, because didn't DIY go for that last week?
Yes.
Unmask him, and then Street Profits we'll take that.
That might
roll
work.
him up whilst he's...
covering his face. I quite like that, yeah.
Hide my gorgeous face.
Yeah, please. People can't know what a hunk I am. I've just thought of something, because it is a Slash preview, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
There is currently no women's match on
4 on the card,
Saturday night's main event. Could that Zelina Vega finish play into her having to defend a title? Like SmackDown GM knows his way around a bit of an impromptu match these days, and the challenge is laid out. Say if somebody pins a Julia or Charlotte Flair, like the other one gets a title shot because there's some sort of afters or something like that, and they run that for Saturday night's main event as the fifth match on
I like that. Switching gears now to Saturday night's main event. Where do you want to start with this one? Should we do John Cena or R-Truth? What's he going to do to him?
Is it the only SmackDown match on this card?
That's Raw. Oh, Priest McIntyre Smackers.
Oh, yeah, aye. John Cena's going to brutalise R-Truth. I really, really hope they get right the amount of sympathy that you're supposed to lather on R-Truth here, because they haven't had the chance to do it on television. It's been a
chance tonight as well, I suppose.
Yeah. It's one of the 3 events, isn't it? Because they had to cancel NXT on the Tuesday, but they're running...
Oh, is that what's happening?
Right, they're running SmackDown Saturday Night's Main Event and Battleground. Or it might be...
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think I'm
yeah,
wrong,
that's
actually.
right.
Is it not Saturday Night's Main Event, Battleground and Raw? I might have got that wrong. They were going to do 4, and now they're doing 3.
Right.
Either way. But in the match, and maybe tonight on SmackDown, if they're both there in a face-off or whatever, you finally get that live crowd. Oh, Ron, John. Like, you get that sense of sympathy and that sense of heartbreak. Don't cop out on it. Don't John Cena pantomime it. Just actually lean in to being a bit of a dick. Like, be nasty, be a heel.
Start up by setting it up with a handshake, though, because everyone knows what's coming.
Yeah.
But R-Truth could be like, see, I told you he's a good guy.
Straight up, knocks him out, but like R-Truth gets a shoulder and Cena's like, what? And then beats him around the ring.
Belt shot. They've set that up as his kill shot.
Cheats to win, yeah. And probably
what if he tries to hit him tonight and R-Truth's ready and hits him with Cena's 5 moves of doom?
Yes, that's the hope spot, is the John Cena run. Absolutely, because that's where kind of all this started, isn't it? So yeah, that is the one hope spot, is that it's like when he starts to make his comeback, which nobody really buys, he's doing Cena's moves. And you can maybe go as far as you can do at least you can do the 5-knuckle shuffle. And maybe the STF for a brief moment has Cena, oh no, no, but he just gets the ropes.
I think he gets him up for the AA and Cena shoves him off and bails, and then so you can have that in the match.
Yeah, maybe. I just don't need too much hope from R-Truth here. I've got to be honest. I think I would like to see Cena
John Cena.
Cena be pretty nasty about it. I would put this on last because I would have the beating continue and the post-match feature the return of Cody Rhodes.
Oh
my God.
I've missed him.
Me too. And I think I don't love yet John Cena and Travis Scott versus Cody Rhodes and somebody, whatever.
2 words, Bad Bunny.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's fine. 1 word.
I played that on the drive-in today after the news.
Just get yourself worked up, get yourself hyped. Now, Cody Rhodes returns, and it's the big sort of talking point coming off the back of Saturday Night's Main Event.
What if it's not going to happen? But I'd love it too, and it's going to happen at some point, but maybe not here. What if R-Truth's like, come on out, John, let's, I know you're a good guy underneath all this, let's have this out. And then, what's his name? Mark Nash?
Yeah.
Says, ladies and gentlemen, I've just been given a piece of paper, and unfortunately, John Cena isn't in attendance here tonight. Good news, that doesn't take one of his dates off. Bad news, instead of that, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Doctor of Thugonomics. He buries R-Truth with some... Tell him to... Hang on. There's a button. There's definitely a button for this. One of the first ones I ever loaded in. Tell him to... John Cena's like a pinwheel, so you go ahead and blow me. And choke on.
These nuts.
It's good. The only thing working against that, is that people will like it.
Yeah.
And Cena from this... I've really soured on this Cena heel turn. Like, I was the guy...
I was listening to Bad Man on the way in as well. And I was like, there it was.
I was supportive of the Randy Orton booking, even though I knew the match was going to stink. I just didn't anticipate how much it would stink. And that has really soured me.
Especially when it went like 25 minutes.
Too long. I still want the matches that I want to see. I do. There's a spectacle element to it. I've been watching a bit of 2010 John Cena for some research, and I like it less than I did, and I think this run could be actually corrupting elements of the prior ones. You can't abandon it. Like, this is one of them. It's a bit like Moxley and AEW.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
If there's a plan and there's a goal, then I broadly support like putting your head down, gritting your teeth, and working. I remember when was it Cope and a couple of ones before it was like, but that's clearly not the person that's taking this belt off him. So we've kind of just got to get through this. Like Daniel Bedingfield told us to. We're kind of in that same situation with. I don't want to run away, but John, I can't take it. I don't understand.
James Dean. It's another one of his songs.
That's because SmackDown Cinema, so it's of the music scene.
There is one other thing that I suggested, I think on Monday, that got you very excited.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever happens tonight.
Yeah.
Saturday, hope spot for R-Truth, but John Cena wins.
Yeah.
Like, pins in with an AA or whatever. And then afterwards, he's like, nah, you know what? I want to really mess him up. I'm going to belt shot him through a table, like prop up a table in the corner, set him up. Wham! John Cena, as you sit there, hopefully in as much pain as possible. And then CM Punk does the promo on the ramp heading to Money in the Bank.
He's in the building.
Get the belt off him. It's not going to happen yet. I think SummerSlam's our best hope for that sort of thing. But it does lead us nicely into CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
This is the stuff. This is the dance. I am optimistic, cautiously, that this is the end of Seth and Punk and not before time.
Agreed.
Because Seth has made it very clear he wants the world title. Braun Breaker and him are ready to run even more roughshod over Raw, and they will feel more empowered than ever when they defeat Sami Zayn and CM Punk, and Seth can be like, bah, 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 like we're even.
Wait, you're saying they can't coexist?
Well, I don't think they will, Wilbourn. And it's for them, for Seth, the leader of the heel stable, the group that are still like to get a new member, with eyes on the world title, with a Braun Breaker who's thinking, well, I've also got my eyes, but I'll hold off an eye. You get it. There's like 6 to 8 months of stories to be told now when Seth is finally clear of this. Punk and Sami is exhilarating.
Oh,
every look
Oh my God.
they're currently sharing is captivating to me. And possibly just as captivating as when Sami Zayn goes in to speak to Jey Uso and he's like, I got you back. And then does he? And then, like he mostly does, but
mess up the handshake.
yeah, mainly when CM Punk is there to help. Who gets more cheers, which will build resentment. I'm not so sure if a turn happens here, but I fully expect the babyfaces to lose. Probably Sami to get pinned because that's going to further the resentment when it's Punk that say, like, you know, for example, Punk in however many weeks is saying to Jey Uso, who is still world champion, I would like a shot at that world title. Like, the only time I've lost is at WrestleMania, whatever. And Sami's like, you're going to give a shot to him. You know? Like, why would you do that? Da, da, da. Or both Punk and Sami are entered into Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Sami that wins it. And Punk's like, all right, fine.
Wait, is Sami Zayn winning Money in the Bank, you're saying?
That's where I'm going. I know it's a bit out there for you, but like, see if you can get there. See if you can get in that headspace. And then,
Still quite like Braun Breaker was Mr. Money in the Bank. As an insurance policy when Seth inevitably takes that belt off Jay.
But they have such a, not an easy story, but a very fun and intriguing one to tell, where Sami is saying to Jey Uso, like, hold the breaker. I think you want to be watching your back with that CM Punk, you know, he's a shark. He's looking for a title. Like, me and him were teaming together and we couldn't trust each other. And I think you really need to watch what you're doing because you just look the other way and, like, he could take your title. And Jay's like, yeah.
He's desperate. He's desperate to win a world title.
Yeah, he's made that really clear.
It's almost as though he's never won one before.
That's what I learned getting close to CM Punk is that he'll take advantage of you, especially if you're down. Bye. I think
Anyway, see you later.
I think there's so much good stuff to be done there.
Do you think there's third man stuff here or not yet?
Oh, that could be a nice way to do it. I hadn't thought about that.
I don't think they need it, but I could see them doing it.
Yeah. That's a
I
good...
think third man might be maybe SummerSlam, but maybe SummerSlam involved in Seth and the world title. I don't know.
It is rare that Triple H over eggs a pudding. If anything, he likes those puddings to be egg-free, and he likes the pudding to be starters, and he likes the starters to be made of vegetables.
Egg!
And it's Saturday night's main event, so it's never like tippy top of priorities in terms of big things happen on this show.
Well, especially not if you do have a Cody return or something. It's like that can be the
they have one big headline they like coming out of these shows.
So that might I like the idea though. I like that because then all the more reason. This is what Triple H does do at least is that he does empower his baby faces to be proper good guys, and he empowers his heels to feel like they've done nothing wrong. So if and when. So this loss is ultimately what drives this wedge between Sami and Punk. I mean, like, look, we've been friends for a common good, but I guess we've lost this battle against Seth and Braun. And Money in the Bank's coming up. So
what if they're in a triple threat to qualify together?
And Punk's got a win over Sami Zayn on TV this year.
Right?
So like one of them gets that, and it's like that. This is our business now. We're back on in pursuit of the title. No hard feelings, but not many good ones either. Catch you down the road, that kind of thing. And it just...
Sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
Sammy Punk Braun qualified.
Jesus Christ. Please stop. There's just so much fun stuff to dig into between Sammy and Punk when this is all said and done. Now, I don't know if, like, the turn feels like it's imminent, but I wouldn't buy Sami Zayn, but I'm desperate for him to get to the briefcase for the babyface pop and then watch the kind of the potential of it eat him alive when Jey Uso's the world champion. Just the tension that you get to play with there. I like that
it was
enough
a lot.
when he was stood behind him on the Raw after WrestleMania. Imagine him sat next to him in the locker room, which is increasingly becoming a thing they're doing, and always turning up with the case in hand. And you cannot, it's never mind a glowing red spot on someone's back, a glowing green spot in Sami Zayn's hand every single time they're on camera together. Like, I think there's so much to do with that. When the whole story of Jey Uso's title reign thus far is, there's challenges everywhere. I'll protect you, mate. Anyone comes at me, anyone comes at you, I'll hit them with this.
I also really like the idea of, like, Punk. He loses this. I think you're right. I think Rollins and Breakker have to win this. For whatever reason, third man or just miscommunication between Sammy and Punk or just a better cohesive tag team, basically, from the heels. I do like the idea of, like, all right, loses that, but, you know, like you say, not by getting pinned or anything like that, even though it's still a loss technically. But he starts getting back on the horse, starts collecting some wins, just, you know, regular, just a scheduled match on Monday Night Raw. Bit of momentum behind him. I don't know what happens with Money in the Bank, but disregarding all that, it's really getting kind of up in the rankings, up in the pit. But I've been drafted to SmackDown, and it's like, back down you go, bottom of the totem pole. And, sorry, who have I been traded for? Drew McIntyre. What? And then Drew's there with Jay as well. It's more sharks on Raw. It's genuinely, it's fascinating. Jey Uso, I think it's such a weird dichotomy. We talk about this quite a lot. Jey Uso's world champion, and we'll talk about his title match because it could all be over by Saturday, of course. Jey Uso's world champion personifies the whole, what do you actually want? Do you want good wrestling? Do you want popularity? Do you want crowd noise? What do you want? And whilst he has his limitations, the uncertainty around, he could lose it tomorrow. He could lose it, Money in the Bank, the Raw after Money in the Bank, the cashing inevitably after that, or just, a nice run all the way for 4 months till SummerSlam, where he's going to be, he's not holding it past SummerSlam. I'll take that pasty bet with anyone who fancies it. It's just, I just think it's so intriguing. Whereas, like, Cena's the opposite. It's like no one went into Backlash going, bloody hell, this could be the end of Cena's world title run here. I keep thinking about how the night after Money, the Raw after Money in the Bank, could be the main event being Jey Uso versus Gunther and Sami Zayn. Like, I'll beat Gunther, and don't worry, I got you. Hi, right there. And then Goldberg shows up. Goldberg, of course, yeah. There's nothing to do with something. I was indoctrinating my Uber driver last night on the way home. He said, "What you been in London for?" I was like, "Oh, blah blah blah, podcast show." "Oh, what podcast are you doing?" I was like, "#1 UK wrestling podcast." "Thanks for asking, mate." And he went, "Oh yes, Adam Wilbourn of the Dudley Boys." He said, "Isn't that the one that MJF calls
one of the only professional wrestling podcasts that's actually worth a
It is. Thank you so much for asking.
Why don't you cover that bloody AEW one? He says, "You must be getting us confused." We do.
So, and he as everyone says,
a sticker. Don't need one.
As everyone says, I used to love wrestling when I was a kid. I was like, all right. And he ran through some of his favorites. And he mentioned Scotty 2 Hotty, huge pab from me. Yep. Mentioned like Stone Cold. Then he was like, big Goldberg fan back in there. I was like, well, you're in luck. He's coming back. So get on Netflix and get on YouTube.
Catch up, yeah. Add yourself to the list.
In fact, give me a phone. I'll subscribe to the...
Can we trade lives just a second? I can ask for a big prediction from you from tomorrow.
Freaky Friday?
Yeah. Let's talk about Scary Saturday, because you're in London, so you've probably got a better finger on the pulse than I have. What's your big prediction for tomorrow in the steel cage match that is the championship playoff final between Sunderland and Sheffield United?
I think it's very much heart and head.
I think that's fair. We are the Sunderdogs.
Heart says...
We're Black Cats, but...
It'd be amazing for Sunderland to win. Head says... It's Sheffield United. It's always been Sheffield United. It's going to be depressing, like... these teams go up and down and up and down, and these are the teams that have been dominating the championship, and they're going up.
Yeah. This is the last sort of thing where they've got, like, all that parachute money, so there's big pressure on them now to, like... they've got, like, a team of ex-Premier League players that
Why is your game kicking off at 3:01? I saw that on BBC Sport today.
I don't know. I don't know.
See if I can find that out.
3:01, is that like so there can be like a minute's tribute?
Maybe that might be it.
I don't know.
And Aberdeen, obviously, Celtic tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Big day.
Big footballing day. Last day of the Premier League on Sunday.
Oh my God.
So it says it's something to do with the Champions League. I don't know.
Yeah, there's not much else to be decided, really.
Tune out.
The team 17th in the league are in the Champions League next season, so
Funny, isn't it?
funny.
Looking at the league table's funny. I mean, if we find ourselves as part of the league table, it ain't going to be laughing at it next season.
You taking the kids to the pub to watch the game, or
No.
avoiding it all?
They've both got birthday parties with their friends, separate ones, and then they're coming back home just in time for kickoff.
Oh,
And they've got, you will love this, by the way. I'll show this when we get down the office. My wife ordered them 2 red and white themed sweet boxes that say how it, like,
Oh my God.
pizza boxes full of red and white sweets that say how the lads on the top, and then till the end when you open it up. And I know they're going to see till the end our marketing campaign as an instruction.
Yes.
And then they're going to be on sugar highs, win, lose or draw.
Yeah.
So the idea of them not being able to sleep tomorrow night if we've gotten beat is going to be longer than a drive home after a defeat.
you know, like football. There's a football fan chant / sign that's like "Win or lose, we're on the booze."
Yeah. Victory or defeats, we're on the sweets.
Yes, I was trying to think of something. Win or lose, we're going to be sick. But in terms of the steel cage match,
Yes.
Drew McIntyre, obviously.
Yeah, I
Drew
think so.
McIntyre wins. Damian Priest can go away for a bit. I think he needs to go away for a bit, to be honest. I really like Damian Priest, but I think absence will make the heart grow fonder for him.
Mm-hmm.
Definitive winner, Drew McIntyre. So Damian can either be written off or just go away to lick his wounds. I mean, didn't Drew promise someone's leaving on a stretcher?
Yes.
And I think it has to be Drew, because Drew is really in the ascendancy. I was chatting to a mate of mine just the other day, and he sort of said, I was a bit like, Drew Damian, and then it kicked AS, and he was like, oh, they're doing it again, but he's very much of the Drew needs to, this is the time now if you're going to do it. He needs to get the push. He should be in and around that world title picture without question, and I know he's on the wrong brand right now, but you know what I mean.
No, it's the kind of Punk and Seth, I guess, apart from them two. It's the only one that feels like a WrestleMania hangover program at this point, doesn't it? So it doesn't need to wrap in the same way that Punk and Seth does. And Drew, I really quite like the possibility of Drew winning this cage match. Now, I know a cage is slightly different to a cell, but just this whole idea that Drew, the star, believed himself levels above Damian Priest and like gets to win this Fued in the same way that Punk defeated him. And it's almost like he's kind of taken some of, like whether he wants to admit it to himself, he's kind of taken some of Punk's aura and determination and actually followed it through himself. He would never credit him for that. But he was like, oh yeah, we've had our fights and I've come out on top and I've left the cage walking. I didn't last time, I did this time. Like I'm the one that's, like I've actually come forward. The Punk feud has made me better. And off he goes into Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
For example. And I think that's like there's some interesting character growth to explore there that Drew himself would deny. But if you track it, you can definitely
Could end up a bit where he's on Raw as the babyface challenger to Seth Rollins down the road, for example.
That's interesting. I haven't thought about Drew McIntyre as a babyface for a long time, and I don't think we're getting there anytime soon. But it is, he's got that, he's done it, right? He's done that innate charisma thing where eventually heels show too many likable traits and you have to turn them. And Drew's got that for when they want it. I don't think he's anytime soon, but he's a great utility. As he proved the last time, the only thing that turned him babyface in 2019 was doing a 3-2-1 countdown on the Claymore.
Yeah.
Remember that? And it was just like, there is an innate likability in there that make people want to join in. And he's recently embracing that 3-2-1 again. So maybe down the line there is a babyface turn. I don't know.
Got an idea for the finish of this. I think Drew should win just by killing him, to be honest. But what if... This is from the stupid file from Adam Wilbourn. Damian Priest targets Drew's arms to stop him from climbing.
Okay.
Even though I don't like people winning steel cage matches by climbing out the steel cage. That's not what it was there for, but still.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, both of my arms are broken. Okay. Maybe not to that extent, but he can't climb.
Yeah.
Damian Priest decides to climb out of the cage to win. Not exactly a babyface trait, but regardless. And Drew, realizing as Damian Priest was reaching the top of the cage, instead of like asking for the door to be open, that bollocks, realizes this. Damian Priest goes to stand on top of the cage.
Right.
And Drew McIntyre claymores the side of the cage, and Damian Priest falls back into it.
Takes a Like, I can't see any reason why that wouldn't work or be
Easy.
You're asking Damian Priest to basically take a similar bump to that one that Shane took when Braun was like, down you go for calling me dumb. Like, whoa, bonk. Drew. So I can't see any problem with that. Drew, it sort of has to be violent. Like, the WrestleMania match was a weapons match. The spot in the 4-weight backlash, I was like, oh, it's a concussor. Like, they've got to be pretty violent here. I don't know if it's blood, but you might not be far wrong with a high spot or something like that. Do you know what they'll do? They will do the big lads steel cage superplex in the rich history of Saturday Night's main event, the main event. The Big Boss Man and Hulk Hogan did a suplex off the steel cage.
Yeah, he's trying for the South of Heaven off the top, and Drew reverses it into a superplex.
Yeah.
Claymore.
That might be it. Yeah.
I like that. Right, finally, a weird question this is to conclude with. Could Logan Paul become World Heavyweight Champion this weekend?
No.
But
However,
there's going to be a hell of a 2 count in there.
There is. Yeah. He can't become the world champion, but he can, for the first time in a while, entertain me. Because I think Logan Paul has fallen into quite a nasty trap of late of becoming the bang average wrestler. And there's too many of them. And his athleticism is getting overlooked because the matches are drab and he's not thinking about the narrative tissue. As wanky and pretentious as that might sound, it's important. Jey Uso and Logan Paul is either a disaster on an epic scale. I kind of want to look at that.
Yeah.
Or out of nowhere because of that 2.99 or because of the stress of the idea of Logan Paul being the one to dethrone Jey Uso because Jey Uso is so easy to get sympathy on. It becomes just this thrill ride of drama and anxiety. I didn't say quality, but it becomes a thrill ride of those other things. And as a result, you're like, how the hell did they do that? How was I on the hook? How did they sort of actually take me on a ride here? I don't see the way this can just be a bang average match. I think this is Turkey City Jones or out of nowhere drama at the ace.
Opener? If you're putting Cena and Truth in the main event?
I think I do the tag as the opener. I think it's like that.
Yeah,
Saturday
you might
night's
be right there,
Saturday
actually.
night main event bombast, like there. And we're starting hot. Like, and yeah. But wherever it goes, it's you got to look at it. It's weird. It's crap. Like, this is what I talk about when I talk about how the companies are being their best selves. Friggin' Jey Uso, a not good wrestler, the world champion that's one of the most over guys in all of wrestling, against Logan Paul, this, like, I hate him, but he's like this mega famous, influencer guy who brings the numbers and whatever. Like, that is so current distilled WWE. And I can't take my eyes away from it. Versus an AEW on Double or Nothing the next day, where there's like wrestlers who like could have better matches in their sleep than those two guys, but unfortunately sometimes send some of the fans to sleep. So it's just, but like it's so good that these products are far apart. Yeah, it's like they are distinct.
2 final things before we wrap up here. Number 1, I am once again asking you. I know it's been a topic quite a lot recently. To have Karrion Kross interact with Jesse Ventura.
Like it.
If you haven't seen it, check out the clip from the brilliant Chris Van Vliet. He does a spot on impression of him. I love Tess as well. Tess is so good on these main events. He makes it feel
he does.
So big. Number 2, one of Logan's big things over the years has been, I'm going to do a selfie video before, leaping off to take out the Roman Reigns and the Saudi ones, the obvious ones that you go to.
Yeah.
He goes to do something like that. Jey Uso chins him, climbs up to the top, leads the entire arena as he scans around. Yeet, yeet, yeet. And then big Uso splash.
I love it. Takes control of the drone.
Yeah.
That he had at WrestleMania. I love that.
I forgot about the drone, yeah.
Oh, that would work, wouldn't it? Like, he does an entire circle of it and you just see everyone and he's like, look, oh no, I've got to delete that footage. That's a task I didn't need. Yeah, he's doing it in the middle of the match. Not now. I love that, yeah, the big yeet.
Be nice to have one Logan Paul match without one of his wheezy little twat mates trying to give him the brass knucks.
Yeah, they're annoying, aren't they?
He doesn't need them, as he's proven.
Power of the punch.
That's going to be the 2.9, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the best book shot in wrestling that he has, but instead...
Some sort of distraction, bang, yeah. Probably. It's been knocking him out, so yeah, they'll lean on that.
Yeah. Well, let us know your thoughts ahead of SmackDown and Saturday night's main event in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. You can continue the conversation with us on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, you can follow both of us. You can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. As I said, make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. All the news surrounding WrestleMania is out as a podcast right now. Myself, Phil and Nicholas will be back with Wrestle Culture later on today as well. And as Hamflett mentioned, there is also going to be that Double or Nothing preview coming your way tomorrow. We'll be back on Tuesday because of the bank holiday in the UK. Apologies to our international viewers, where we're basically going to cram everything in. We'll talk about, hang on, how's this going to work? Saturday night's main event combined with the Raw review.
Yeah.
A Double or Nothing review, of course, and Battleground as part of the NXT preview on Tuesday. So a bumper Tuesday for you there. But for now, this has been the SmackDown preview and Saturday night's main event preview, where we've talked about Logan Paul potentially becoming world champion, a steel cage match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, the tag team title match happening tonight on SmackDown, Street Profits versus Fraxium. Who else is going to qualify for Money in the Bank? CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. And what is John Cena going to do to R-Truth?
The SmackDown / Saturday night's main event preview. It's got all this and the Roker Raw. How are you, lads?
See you soon.